With the power completely functional in parts of this abandoned leisure centre, it is hard to believe the property is disused at all. In the other older parts, the Art Deco architecture is clearly visible, and we are amazed at the contrast in decay and damage. Come with us in this Urbex episode as we enter a historic baths that, apart from some extensions, boasts the same decor as it did when it was built. From the outside, the leisure centre is clearly abandoned, with metal sheeting on all the windows and warning signs too. Because of this, we had to think a bit outside the box to find an entry point, but eventually we did so. We begin our exploration in the machinery section that all swimming pools have. Here the water temperature would be maintained via the boilers, and chlorine would have been added for the site's daily use. Large industrial machinery is always very photogenic when it is disused, and this was no exception, with foliage beginning to grow on the rusting remains. Upstairs we found a few office spaces which were decaying nicely. However, these weren't the same as the offices in our previous explore and were bare. A key aspect of this facility is that there is little to no unnatural damage, and we could see that for ourselves here. Anyway, it was time to move on to the main reason we visited the property, to see the leisure centre's stunning swimming pool. The large skylights above the gap in the ground where the water would have gone emit a great amount of natural light into the large hall, so we could see the impressive structure how it would have looked when it was open. It was amazing that all the old tiling had survived until today, as well as the signs on the walls clearly indicating the height levels and other warnings. Surprisingly, the arched ceiling above the pool was the reason that the site closed in the late 2000s. The baths opened in the 1930s and became famous for featuring a British Olympic gold medalist who attended when he was young. However, after a structural survey that found faults with the roof that could have put visitors at risk, the swimming pool section was immediately closed. It is sad because although there would need to be a general clean-up, the pool is still in reasonable condition to be functional again. The real problem came much later when copper thieves were opening up piping inside to steal the important metal bits, which exposed asbestos into the facility, giving a perfect reason to demolish the historic structure. Something we should mention is that we weren't alone on this explore. As soon as we entered the swimming pool room, we met multiple portrait photographers who had been allowed inside to participate in a photo shoot. Luckily, they didn't mind us being in there too. The building also boasts a nice central staircase following the same decor as the pool did. changing rooms were on the second floor as well, but they had been long stripped. In the reception area, the leisure centre still had power surprisingly, although it had been closed for a considerable amount of time. Once the baths were closed, the sports hall side stayed open for another 5 years until closure to the public just after 2010. The sports hall itself was gigantic but extremely dark. There was even some balls remaining, but we had to use our torches to play. Soon enough we found a large selection of switches that appeared to be on. A random job of flicking them on and off eventually caused something we didn't expect. All the lights suddenly came on, lighting up the reception and sports hall in full beam. The property hardly looked abandoned at all. We don't think the power has been left on throughout the building's period of abandonment. It is more likely that recently builders have been working on the site and have needed the lights to see what they are doing. The sports hall was in great condition, and we could even play in it now because there was many footballs remaining.
This is one of the more weirder abandoned things we've been inside, just because like we played football on it now and it's fine, there's nothing wrong with it apart from maybe a few dirty bits in the grass. Like really there's nothing wrong with it, and the fact that this is closed, just it's bizarre.
We had finished exploring and it was time to leave the leisure centre as if we had never been inside it. Although the baths have been linked with a company for preservation, nothing has really changed yet, but we can hope that something will soon, and the fascinating design could be of use once again.